Hey everyone, it's Dr. Jason Deitch, and we're here with another edition of Amplified Live. And today we have a great conversation to be had with my great friend and mentor, Dr. Gerry Clum. Gerry, thanks for taking some time out of your, what I know to be very busy schedule, to be here with us today.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for those kind comments. They mean a great deal. I appreciate it.
It looks to me like not only are we going to have a cool conversation about a brand new conference, but we get to give viewers an insight into what it's really like to be Dr. Gerry Clum at your major world headquarters. So
this is what life is like after you retire.
There you go.
You don't have any staff. You're handling it all yourself. And it's been just a little over 5 years since I retired, quote unquote, from Life West. In a little bit less than 5 years since I came back and joined the faculty at Life University, and kind of a full circle moment, having started my career there in January 75 with Dr. Williams, and now to have the chance to come back and be part of it again in 30 some years later with Dr. Rieckman. It's a great treat. And the conference that we're about to talk about, the Rubicon Conference, is one of the activities that I'm working on with Dr. Rieckman and with a number of other college presidents from around the world, to bring I think a very important and very timely conference to the profession. We're going to be in London a month from today. Today we're taking care of this on February 11th, and on March 11th we'll be joining at the Park Inn at Heathrow Airport and begin our 3 days together.
Right on. Let me ask you to put your microphone a little closer to your mouth. Let me see. There we go. I think that's going to be better.
Okay.
Perfect. This is called the Rubicon Conference, and it's really unlike conferences that have been in the past. I've read through who the speakers are, but let's talk the broad strokes. Why the Rubicon Conference? What's the need for this at this point in time in our profession?
Well, I think the profession has come to a point where we have, for 110, 120 years now, we have functioned in one model and in one context, and I'll describe it as the either-or world. And the either-or world is very quickly dying, and we're moving into the both-and world. And so part of our emphasis in this conference is to look for other disciplines, persons in other fields that share the same ideas that we do. They may approach them from different viewpoints, but through their experiences and through their understandings, they might help inform our understanding of our relationship to our discipline and our paradigms and the way we approach the organization of our thought regarding our discipline. So, in practical terms, we're looking, obviously the core and the heart of chiropractic is neurology. And so this conference is going to be very significantly based around the most contemporary concepts of neurology, and we'll have an opportunity to highlight some of the work of Heidi Havok, has had the first paper related to chiropractic ever in the history of the profession accepted in the journal Neuroplasticity. And Heidi will be talking about that paper, among others. And then Mike Hall from the NeuroLife Institute at Life University, doing cutting-edge clinical work in neurology. So we'll begin with that emphasis in relationship to neurology, and then we'll also try and expand the context that we're looking at the discipline using other approaches and other lines of reasoning as we appreciate the many facets of ourselves as chiropractors. For example, aside from the direct neurological considerations, we're also going to involve Scott Rosa out of New York, who's done some very remarkable cutting-edge stuff with weight-bearing MRI. And he has worked with, it does work and continues to work with Ray Damadian, the radiologist who was the Nobel candidate for the medical applications of MRI. In fact, he's the gentleman that created the first MRI image in the world for healthcare.
Wow.
And together they have developed a software and a methodology to give real-time fluid flow analyses within the body. And Scott, for example, will be demonstrating before and after imaging before and after a cervical spine adjustment, atlas adjustment, of changes in cerebrospinal fluid flow resulting in tonsillar ectopia and all sorts of complex neurological symptoms that we really can't explain the mechanism as to why they're resolving, but they're resolving almost instantaneously when this atlas subluxation is corrected and the cerebrospinal fluid flow is normalized. And to look at it and to see it on the images before and after, it's a stunning discussion. So we want to bring this to people to say, you know, the things we've talked about for 120 years, we were right. We were right. And now as more means of demonstrating function come to pass, we're finding out exactly how right we were.
Science is catching up with us.
Yeah, and we may have been off on the you know, the dimensions of the room and the color of the drapes, but we got a pretty good.
We're learning.
We got a pretty good hit on it, and we nailed it pretty well. So that's going to be an important part. And then we're also taking another track where we're looking at issues, for example, that are related to ourselves as individuals, with our families, with ourselves in relationship to our practices, ourselves in relationship to our professional lives, our broader communities. And we have two very important tracks and speakers. One will be addressing compassion and secular ethics. A gentleman from the Center for Compassion, Integrity, and Secular Ethics at Life University, Brendan Ozawa da Silva. And then he'll also be joined by a fellow from Derry, Northern Ireland, Mr. Richard Moore, who is very frequently referred to by His Holiness the Dalai Lama as his hero. And I don't know how you put that on a calling card, but I'd find a way to do that. Put that on my business card. But the bottom line is, Mr. Moore was blinded as a 10-year-old child in the Troubles in Northern Ireland, and went about his life as a productive citizen and a contributing member of society. Bypassed the opportunity to be angry, to be hateful, to seek a life of retribution, and went on to craft a beautiful life and a wonderful family and a great career. When he heard the Dalai Lama speak about forgiveness and so on, he realized, and the Dalai Lama realized in him, that this is exactly what he had done. And His Holiness speaks of the fact that while he talks about what ought to be done, Mr. Moore did what ought to be done. And so having the opportunity to spend some time with an individual with those experiences and having that depth of ability to change their life in response to a very dramatic, very negative experience in such a positive way is something I think we can all learn from.
This sounds like a shift of sorts. I mean, there's something I can feel that's coming from this conversation that I have not seen anywhere before. Bringing philosophers together, college presidents together, scientists together, around the conversation of philosophy, physiology, neurology, and compassion. It sounds like a launching pad for a new direction. Well,
that's right. And I'll go back to my opening comments about the end of the either or and the dawn of the both and. Excuse me. In days gone by, we would have put our blinders on and saw the world within that very narrow tunnel. And today we understand that there's all sorts. We understand that there's all sorts of parallel applications to the concepts and the ideas that we talk about that inform the lives and circumstances of other people, and in turn, their circumstances can inform our lives and circumstances. So that's going to be a very important part. And you're right. I think the tone and the intention of this discussion is very different. And to help people understand that, one of the key features will be that all of the presidents or principals, as they're known in different parts of the world, of the 6 chiropractic colleges that are sponsoring this activity, Life West, Barcelona, McTimney in the UK, New Zealand, and Sherman, are going to be presenting their thoughts on where we are and what the future holds for us in this concept of coordination, of cooperation, and of collaboration with other disciplines, not for us to become them, but for us to learn from them as they learn from us. And it's a variation on the theme, but it's an important variation, and we think it will have a great appeal to the practicing chiropractor and to the person who is intrigued about where science, technology, healing, and our understandings of these phenomena are going. And we'll just scratch the surface on some of them. We'll drill deep on others. But we're going to have a fun 3 days in London. And if anybody wants to learn more about it, the website is the RubiconConference.com. And you can take care of registration, payment, everything you need right there, one spot, get a copy of the program, and also check out your hotels, whatever else you need. So it's very easy, just one-stop shop and get it all done.
Outstanding. So, and if I understand correctly, it's going to be actually kind of a fast-paced, more TED-like format, and then you also have workshops where people will be able to really, kind of work one-on-one and in small groups, really with, I'll say, not only the profession, but the world's leaders in these categories.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for bringing that aspect of it up. The main program is Saturday the 12th and Sunday the 13th of March. And it will be a 30-minute presentation, very quick, and it will run those 2 days. The day before, on the 11th, for those persons that could come a day earlier and have the interest, we're having a series of workshops with Dr. Havok, Dr. Hall, Dr. Rosa, Dr. Ozawa da Silva, Dr. Rob Scott, Dr. David Koch from Life University, where they'll be spending anywhere from 90 minutes to 3 hours with these individuals in a relatively intimate setting, talking about the details of their work and helping those persons who are there as guests to understand far more deeply than you would in a typical seminar environment or something where you feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose and you're getting wet, but you're not getting drunk. You're not getting your thirst quenched. Hopefully, we'll be able to do both in this environment, and we'll be able to quench people's thirst for knowledge, and we'll also be able to dip them in a new perspective and an orientation as to how we're seeing the world. So I think it's an important time, and it's a very important event. And frankly, it's one that I've been very excited to be involved in. And one of the reasons I am excited about my involvement in it, I probably don't sound too excited. I'm getting over a cold here, but the reason I'm excited about it is it's as you said in the beginning, it's something different. It's a different way of looking at things, putting the pieces together. And we can continue doing what we've always done, have a degree of success and make livings and get about in the world and help a few people and that sort of thing. Or we can look at things differently and maybe we can geometrically increase our effectiveness. And that's what the discussion is going to be about, is how can we do more, help more, serve more, and advance the circumstance of the human better through our work together with an understanding across disciplines than in our own little silo and in our own narrowed tunnel view of the world. So
that's very refreshing. And from what I do know, speaking to Dr. Riekman, and I've got to credit you, I mean, to bring these college presidents together from around the world with a common conversation is nothing short of miraculous for those that know. So kudos to you and to them for really seeing, I think, really what the need in this profession, let alone the world, is, and getting over the either or.
Yes.
But let's get it done. There's so much that we do agree on, and there's so much to learn when we opened our minds to. Probably what Mr. Moore will talk about in terms of compassion and being more open-minded than just, I'm pissed and I'm right and then.
Yeah.
So I want to invite everybody to go to the RubiconConference.com, learn more about the conference, check it out, be there early for the workshops, stay all weekend, get wet and your thirst quenched at the same time. I'll leave you with any closing comments, Gerry.
Yeah, well, thank you again, Jason, for the opportunity, and I do hope folks will visit the site and consider the opportunity that this conference will provide them some really, really very spectacular people in a very sincere effort to try and learn more and understand more than we have in the past. So we hope you'll join us and that you will learn from us, and in turn, we will learn from you. So thank you.
Right on. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Amplified Live. We'll see you at the Rubicon Conference. Have a great day.